Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of a 3-game weekend series. The Astros take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Last night we watched the Astros build the lead and go on to wax Toronto 12-4. Very happy night for the Astros. A lot of hitting, good pitching from Jordan Lyles. Now let's see if they can build on that, stack another win on top of that, Ash.
Why not? Why not build on 15 hits and all those runs, 3 triples on the night, hitting home runs. Very good offensive night for the club.
And the guys at the top of the lineup have been the table setters. It wasn't only last night. They've been putting some nice games together. Robbie Grossman and LJ Hose.
Boy, have they been great. And Robbie Grossman in the midst now of a 10-game hitting streak. Last night drove in 4 on his night that also saw him hit his first Major League home run from the right side of the plate. Now toting around 4 Major League home runs. Robbie Grossman, a very different guy than we saw early on in the season. LJ Hose comes over from the Baltimore Orioles, and what a revelation he has become in the last 9 games, hitting .444 on base percentage. Great. He's been stealing bags for the club and playing a fine right field. LJ Hose has become a key component now in this order for Houston.
In the last 10 games, when Grossman has been the leadoff man, those are his numbers. When Hose has hit second in those last 10 games, he's 7 for 15. They're working in concert with each other.
It's really a nice concert going on, and you combine it with the guys at the bottom of the order who last night, again, were very good. It's a lovely concert we're listening to.
And with more, we go down on the field. Layla Rahimi's waiting.
Well, thanks very much, Bill. And Jonathan Villar may be hitting 9th in the Astros lineup, but for him, that's a good spot. And he's earned the comparison to Jose Reyes, the leadoff hitter for Toronto. And here's some of the reasons why. You could look at the numbers from their rookie seasons. And even though Villar has fewer games, look at his on-base percentage. .337 this year compared to Jose Reyes' 2004. Hard to believe that's the case. Rookie season, he had a .271 on-base percentage. Now, Villar is also been compared to Reyes for other reasons, specifically by his hitting coach, John Maley. He said that look at the tools. He's athletic. He has the arm, the bat speed, the power, bunting, and steals bases. And even though Villar has that potential, it's not just about that. It's also about his personality. He said he's exciting like Reyes, smiles all the time, happy, and that personality carries into the game. It certainly did last night. He was 2 for 4, 2 RBI, and 2 triples. And when Villar is batting 9th, has a .324 average to go to .375 on base percentage. Hopefully that makes him smile similar to Jose Reyes a lot coming up for him as we finish out this season. Now stay with us for first pitch. It is coming up in just moments. Brad Peacock takes the hill for the Astros. Not much of a learning curve for the young Peacock. He's doing his best, that's for sure. We'll be back from Minute Maid Park in just a moment.
Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Brad Peacock takes the ball tonight. He's been on a roll those last 3 starts, Ash.
Boy, has he ever. 3 starts all coming in the month of August. He's just 1-1. But he's just been fantastic. ERA at 1.86. He's allowed just 11 hits in 19 and a third innings and 8 walks to go with it. 20 strikeouts. Brad Peacock with a changeup and a slider now impacting his game on the positive side.
Shin-Min Wong will be his mound opponent as Jose Altuve and the Astros go to work. Will they be able to bash out as many hits as last night? They had 15. They won it 12-4. We'll see what Game 2 of the series brings in just a moment. Ballpark tonight for this Saturday night occasion. It's Game 2 of this series, and we see some of the different looks too. Not all orange in the crowd tonight, as the fans have shown us a little variety. And they're looking at the warm-up tosses of Brad Peacock, who's been so good since he returned from AAA Oklahoma City. The Toronto Blue Jays will be trying to snap a 6-game losing streak against Peacock. They are 1-7 on this road trip. They got swept in a 4-game series at Yankee Stadium before coming here. John Gibbons, the manager, is from San Antonio. Here's his lineup card tonight. Shortstop Jose Reyes leads it off. Rajay Davis in right field, bats second. It's Edwin Encarnacion, the DH. Adam Lynn, the cleanup man, at first. Brett Laurie at third base. J.P. Arancibia, the catcher. Anthony Gose in center field. Ryan Goins at second base. Kevin Pillar in left field.
25-year-old right-hander Brad Peacock on the hill for the Astros tonight, and he's been pitching great baseball. 1-1. That doesn't tell you the way he's pitched. 186 does over 3 starts now here in the month of August since being recalled to the club, and allowing just 11 hits in 19 in the third inning, striking out just over a man per inning, not walking many. That opponent's batting average against it, 159. Very impressive, and that's what Brad Peacock has been. Defensively behind Peacock for Houston tonight, behind the dish, it is Jason Castro. Around the infield, Brett Wallace at first. Marwin Gonzalez gets a start at second base today. Jonathan Villar at short and Matt Dominguez at third. In the outfield, Brandon Barnes in center, flanked by L.J. Hose in right. And in left, Robbie Grossman with a 10-game hitting streak.
The youngsters all ready for the action to begin with Jose Reyes batting. Reyes, the 30-year-old veteran shortstop, had 2 hits in last night's game. He brings a .300 average into the box for this game, and On the grass at third, it's Matt Dominguez. Reyes, an excellent bunter, takes ball 1 from Brad Peacock, making his first career appearance against the Blue Jays. 9 homers, 29 runs batted in, and a .355 on base average for Reyes. He looks at a strike, and it's even at 1-1 now. As Peacock settles in, he's been throwing an effective slider. He's added that to the mix since he returned from Oklahoma City. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count now to Reyes. And for Peacock, that last start against the Angels went well. 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2 and struck out 5. Fastball hit in the air, and that one goes out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He just had a really effective mix since he came back. He did some hard work in the minor leagues to get things back together, and he seems to have learned those lessons very effectively.
Along with the slider and the changeup you talked about, to go with the curveball, that fastball has been so well spotted and a big key for his success.
Well, that's a great example of it there as Reyes is caught looking.
Watch how it rides. Just that 4-seamer that planes out, spots it down around the knees, and finds a corner.
It's out number 1 now. Rajai Davis, like Reyes, another speedster. 272, 2 homers, 15 runs batted in. If he gets on, he is trouble. 40 steals and 44 attempts. That comes in for strike 1 to Davis. Davis has scored 38 runs this year. He's coming in for a lot more playing time now with the injuries to 3 of the outfielders. He pulled off that slider a little bit, and he falls behind 0-2. Davis is already 7th on the all-time Blue Jay list for steals with 120 in his Toronto career. Peacock misses there, 1-2. His father Jerry is here this weekend. Met him last night after the game. And Jerry has been in many minor league ballparks as well as major league parks following Brad. That's whacked foul left field side. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Well, you know, you realize, and we saw Cody Clark make his major league debut last night. His family came in from Arkansas. What an exciting time it is for a player establishing himself in the big leagues with his family able to take part in that.
Of course, for those families, they would like to have more experiences at all the major league ballparks now and be able to say they attended more of those than the minor league parks.
Hopefully they'll get a chance. Ooh. Davis is down on strikes. That was effective.
72-mile-an-hour slow curveball. Do you remember Roy Oswalt? Kind of in that vicinity. That's nice. Just flipping it up there.
Yeah. Well, memories of Roy do come to mind. It's a good analogy. So now Peacock, striking out Reyes and Davis, moves along to a home run hitter, Edwin Encarnacion, who has 32 bombs, 3rd in the American League, also in runs batted in with 94. Strike 1 to Encarnacion. He added to the mix last night with a homer in the 1st inning off Jordan Lyles to right field. He went 1 for 4 in the game. Has power to all fields. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Encarnacion, who came up with the Cincinnati Reds, playing 3rd base. And against the Astros, he hit .625, 3 homers against Houston pitching. 2-1 to Edwin Encarnacion.
.625. What does that mean? That's 10 for 16. 3 doubles, 3 dingers, 9 runs driven in. That's a little bit dangerous.
Well, in Toronto in that series in late July, as you well recall, Ash, he had a 3 for 4 game with 2 homers, 5 runs batted in, including a grand slam. That one is wide of the plate. And then the next day he had a 4 for 4 game. So he wound up with 9 hits in the 4-game series.
The 2 home runs you mentioned, just line shots that barely cleared in left field, but very impressive shots.
Hit 42 homers last year. That's low for a walk to Encarnacion. And he has a great walk to strikeout ratio. That's his 69th walk. And he has struck out only 55 times. That is fabulous for a power hitter.
This is a Blue Jays club coming through here that is not able to utilize Jose Bautista, a guy that went on his game, forms a deadly combo with Edwin Encarnacion.
John Gibbons hoping that 2-out walk can lead to something for Adam Lind. Lind was 1 for 4 last night. Second stint for John as the skipper of the Blue Jays. He's lived in San Antonio for many years. Grew up there. That's ball one. 280 for Lind. 16 homers. 44 runs batted in for Adam. He got an 8th inning single last night, going 1 for 4. And without Jose Bautista in that lineup, that does change the way pitchers approach these hitters. No Bautista, no Colby Rasmus. Fastball looks like it has a little thruster on it, 92 miles per hour, but it kind of jumped at the hitter there. It appeared on the screen, Ash.
Holds its line very well. That means there's a real nice backspin coming out with that 4-seam pitch.
Marwin Gonzalez is playing out in shallow right field. In the dirt. Stopped by Castro.
Yeah, there's the changeup that Brad Peacock has been finding success with. He's turning into that classic 4-pitch pitcher.
Brad's 25 years old from Palm Beach, Florida. Went to Palm Beach State College. 41st round draft choice in 06 by Washington and traded to Oakland. And the Astros picked him up along with Chris Carter and Max Stassi for Jed Lowry and Fernando Rodriguez. 3 balls and a strike to Adam Lind. Peacock last year was at AAA Sacramento all season. He had made his debut in the big leagues for Washington in 2011. He went 2-0 with a 0.75 ERA in only 3 games that year. He was a shortstop in high school, drafted as a catcher. That's fouling out of play. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Sounds like he was a very well-rounded young player.
Yeah.
Adam Lind looks like he's getting ready for an off season in the cold country.
Yeah. He's from Muncie, Indiana. Not sure where he lives, but
still lives in Indiana, I believe.
Okay. So maybe he's all set for a little hunting over the winter. Blue Jays are not exactly hunting a title in the AL East. They're 17.5 games back. They're the only club not in the race in the AL East. 4th place Yankees are 6 behind Tampa Bay, and they play each other tonight in Tampa Bay. Rays won again last night over the Yankees. They've had a hold on them in that ballpark. Runner going, and it's hit in the air near the left field line. Robbie Grossman churning over for it, running out of room and out of play.
One of the real strengths of Adam Lind is that pop the other way. He can drive it out of just about any yard going to left field. Once upon a time, a Silver Slugger Award winner as the DH. And that says a lot of his hitting abilities, but he's tailed off a bit in recent years.
That was back in 09 when he had 35 homers, drove in 114 runs. Very impressive that year with a 305 batting average for the Blue Jays, but he's been unable to come close to that since. Peacock's trying for his first ever win at Minute Maid tonight. He's 0-2 here. Bounce to shortstop. Jonathan Villar over to first. No runs, no hits, and a man left. No score. Bottom of the first inning. They've hit .290 as a team in their last 10 games. Here's the starting lineup tonight for Bo Porter. L.J. Hose batting second after Robbie Grossman leads it off in left field. Hose is in right with Jose Altuve, the DH, batting third. Jason Castro cleans it up at catcher. It's Matt Dominguez at third base, Brett Wallace at first, Brandon Barnes in center field, Marwin Gonzalez at second base, Jonathan Villar the shortstop.
And veteran right-hander Chien-Ming Wang, formerly of the Yankees, formerly a two-time 19-game winner for the Yankees. 1-1, 7.13 the ERA, and you can see that opponent's batting average against .360. It is not the same these days for this sinker baller. .438 by the left-hand hitters.
Robbie Grossman leads it off. And that is ball one. He has his fans here tonight. Well, with those back-to-back 19-game winning seasons you talked about in 06 and 07, he certainly created a fan base. And he really had it going, but then he came in with the Yankees to Minute Maid Park, and he was a base runner at second and attempting to score, and he did score the run on a hit to the outfield. No play on him at the plate, but he sprained his ankle so badly that sent his career into a downward spiral.
See that nice sinking action on the fastball? He had one back in those 19-game winning seasons that he could throw mid-90s. That kind of action right at the knees, time and time again, he had hitters eating out of his hand.
Just called up for this game. That's whacked out toward the gap in right center field. And on the run, coming over Davis. We're out number one.
Defensively for these Toronto Blue Jays, behind the plate, J.P. Arencibia once again homered in last night's game. Around the infield, Adam Lind, Ryan Goins, Jose Reyes, and Brett Laurie. In the outfield, Anthony Ghost, flanked by Rajay Davis, who you just saw making the play, and Kevin Pillar in left field.
L.J. Hose started the series last night by reaching base 4 times in 5 plate appearances. He had 2 hits, 2 walks, stole a base, scored 3 runs. .321 as an Astro after being traded in the Bud Norris deal. And there's ball one up. Chien-Ming Wang is 33 years old now, born in Taiwan. And the Astros have their first ever Taiwanese born player, Chai-Jen Low, in the bullpen. Maybe they'll get a chance to meet and visit if they haven't already done so. Tap foul, 1-1. In that game here in 08 with the Yankees, it was Roy Oswalt opposing Chien-Ming Wang in June of that year. Wang won the game 13-0. He had 5 innings of 6-hit shutout ball. He got 2 double play balls, but then came out with that sprained ankle, and it's the end of the night for him. That one dips for strike 2 to Hose. Wang missed all of the 2010 season. Had shoulder problems after the ankle injury. That one's up for a ball, and that makes it 2-2. Last year, Chien-Ming pitched for Washington, and he had a 6.68 ERA and a 2-3 record. This is his 6th game as a Blue Jay. Tap foul. So usually with a pitcher who's been through what Wang has been through, has lost that kind of velocity and that kind of movement that he once had, he's relying more on guile at this point of his career.
And some of that guile showed up with that last pitch, a changeup that he dropped down to 79.
And a foul tip strikeout takes care of out number 2.
Comes right back with that changeup again. Before and since the injury, you see on the before side, really good. 54-20 in that span, a fine ERA in that 380 range. Since, it's been a rough go. 8-13 in 38 starts, 650 the ERA. And this year the numbers reflect.
Now it's Jose Altuve against Wang. Altuve at 276 with 4 homers, has 42 runs batted in. He had a couple of hits last night, drove in a run with a double. Didn't miss a homer by a whole lot on his double in the first inning. DHing tonight. And he cracks this one to center field, sending Anthony Ghost back for it. For a 1-2-3 first. No score after 1. The Astros are trying to get the second straight game of this series, making another series win. They had back-to-back series wins on the road at Oakland and at Anaheim. Then they were swept by the Texas Rangers on the road, and they're heading out for another road trip. A quick one, a 3-game trip to Chicago to play the White Sox Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. And right back home again here Thursday night to start the next homestand against Seattle. Oh, Peacock and Wong both made it through the scoreless first inning. And now Brett Lawrie will lead it off in inning number 2. Lawrie hit a homer last night, going 1 for 4. 262, 10 bombs. He's driven in 33. He's been on the DL twice. That's in the air and will drift back into the crowd. There is strike 1 for Peacock. Lawrie actually started this season with a rib injury for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. Pulled out of the Classic. And an ankle sprain. Puts that one in the air, and that's back foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
I think that World Baseball Classic could have issues in upcoming years because of the players, that real quality players from major league teams that find themselves getting injured and maybe not coming back ready to totally play come opening day for their clubs.
He rips this line drive out to left center field. Grossman will not be able to make the catch. It's off the bullpen fence, and Lawrie cruises in with a leadoff double on the 0-2 pitch.
This is not the first time I've seen Robbie Grossman go after a fly ball like this with nobody on base and throw up the glove as if he is deking somebody. But in the case of bases empty and the double here for Lawrie, you're not deking anybody. See if we can get a peek as Brett Lawrie drills this shot into left center field. Robbie Grossman has thrown up the glove as if to say, I've got this. But that only would be if base runners are on and you want to freeze them momentarily.
Now J.P. Aronsebi is the batter. He hit his 20th homer last night. Right into the Landry's Crawford boxes. There's ball 1. Aronsebi has driven in 50, and he has a .212 batting average. He went 1 for 4 in the game last night. 20 home runs, tops among catchers in the American League. He is number 2 on the all-time Toronto Blue Jays catcher home run list, 62. Ernie Whitt, the all-time leader, at 127. Strike makes it 1-1 to Aronsebi. He's actually homered in each of his last 2 games. In fact, he leads the majors in home runs by a catcher with 20. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Astros are making a change in their rotation. Ash, Bo Porter announcing tonight that Eric Bedard has been pulled from the rotation and he's going to the bullpen now for the rest of the season.
And I don't think Eric Bedard is overly pleased, and I think he probably feels like, and rightly so, that he pitched well as a starter, but now that assignment to go to the bullpen and pitch that well. And I imagine that it's mostly about trying to develop some of these young arms a little further that figure to be in the rotation come next year.
Well, the Astros are not committing to who's going to replace him. They'll stay with a 6-man rotation. Not ready to announce yet who that other starter is. Lucas Harrell will remain in the bullpen. And it could be David Martinez who comes out of the pen to move into the rotation. That's a possibility.
Well, we saw some good stuff from David on the recent road trip, throwing that good sinker down around the knees. And that's a pitch that has to be down there. If Martinez can continue to pump it down there and keep a nice pace going, really could be a guy who factors in.
Bedard said that the Astros looked at his innings from each of the last 2 years, and he has about the same number of innings right now that he's had in the last 2 seasons. Strikeout for Aronsebi. That's number 3 for Peacock. Came right after him with a heater. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And the Astros told Bedard, according to him, that he would be about 40 innings over what he has pitched each of the last 2 years if he stayed in the rotation. And that's why they're making this move. Anthony Gose at 265 has 2 runs batted in. And as you said, I think that's one reason, not the whole explanation for it. I really think they want to look at younger pitchers. Comebacker Peacock checks the runner, gets the out at first, out number 2 on Gose. And that makes complete sense because Eric Bedard signed as a free agent on a 1-year deal. And the Astros have tough decisions to make about their 40-man roster over the winter. They want to make certain that they have as much of a read on the young talent in this organization as they can possibly get, because they're not going to be able to protect all the talent they would like to protect on that 40-man roster this winter.
Look, this team's trying to go out and win night by night, and they've battled very well. But it is a development year. There's no question, especially right now, this stage of things.
Ryan Goins made quite a debut last night in the majors, and he had 2 hits in that first major league game. Native of Round Rock, Texas, takes ball 1. His family got a chance to come over from Round Rock. There's Brett Oberholzer. He'll be making a start Monday night in Chicago against the White Sox. Peacock throws, and it's ball 2, and then you have this young rotation, so all those guys will stay in there.
Jared Cozart and Brett Oberholzer, a couple of young guys that have had a huge impact on this staff already.
Jordan Lyles pitched well last night, got his 6th win. He remains, of course, in the rotation. They'll be given a longer look. Not sure about Jared Cozart's innings. He may be shut down at some point in September. 2 balls and a strike. And with what Peacock has done, Astros are very happy with the changes he made. And Dyer Miller, a pitching coach who worked with him at AAA Oklahoma City, really helped him immensely. Paul Nolan shielding his eyes down there from that sun coming in from the left field side. 2-2. Hazardous duty for the camera guys. You like to know what you're shooting, Ash, when you're manning a camera.
Yeah, they're getting compensated with the hazardous duty pay, though, so no fear.
Do they get sunlight duty pay?
Yeah, but they're going to lose that here momentarily.
Brett Wallace is shading his eyes. He's in a sun patch there at first base. Big swing by Goins, and he strikes out, and that's 4 punch outs for Peacock. He survives the leadoff double by Laurie and keeps the game scoreless after 1.5. final score here at Minute Maid Park. The Blue Jays and the Astros are playing on a Saturday night, and Jason Castro is ready to step up. Castro is having a milestone season. 273, 15 homers, 48 runs batted in. One more extra base hit, and he has the club record for extra base hits in a season by a Houston catcher. There's strike one.
He's been outstanding, Brownie. There's no question about it. And he's been throwing very well defensively on top of that.
Cracks this line drive for the left field wall. That'll scoop. Go off the base of the wall. Castro into second base. Here's the long throw offline from Pilar. It's a double. That's number 33. And he extends his own record for doubles by an Astros catcher, and now also has the club record for extra base hits in a season with number 44.
Timing can be everything at times. I was just about to say, with a guy like Chien-Ming Wang with that sinking fastball running away, this is the kind of guy Castro stings to left field. You have to trust me on that one.
All right, we'll trust it.
Yeah, look at Jason Castro go.
So 44 extra base hits as a catcher, a new Astros record that has stood since John Bateman set it in 1966. Good grief. Matt Dominguez takes strike one. And Matt, with 18 homers, 63 runs batted in, has been in a nice neighborhood himself, bumped up to the number 5 spot in the lineup. Some very good run production lately. He hit .343 on the road trip with 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. In the dirt, knocked down by Aaron Sebia. 1-1 to Domingo. Last 7 games, Matt has gone 11 for 27 with 4 homers, 7 runs batted in. .407 batting average for Matt Dominguez.
When you talk corner guys, whether it be outfield or infield, you want the guys that can drive the baseball, drive in runs. Matt Dominguez has been doing that as well.
He homered and walked twice, scored 3 times last night. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Well, big situation here after the leadoff double. The Blue Jays had that same situation in the top of the inning. Laurie led off with a double, and they did not advance him. That's strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Chien-Ming Wang.
With Chien-Ming Wang, you get accustomed to watching either hard sinker or changeup sinker one after another, and you don't anticipate this breaking ball that turns the other direction. And I think that just simply froze Matt.
One out. And now Brett Wallace is the batter. .228 for Brett, 10 homers, 28 runs batted in. Last night he had a pair of doubles and a walk, scoring 3 runs. Is that one away for strike 1? Left-handed hitters have a .438 batting average against Wang. Those 2 seasons Alan Ashby talked about, in 06 and 07, he won 38 games combined, most in the majors over that span. One. When he came up for the first time with the Blue Jays this year, he was 1-0 with a 2.61 ERA in his first 3 starts. But since then, things have turned in the other direction. He finished second in the American League Cy Young Award voting to Johan Santana in 06. Wallace puts that one out of play, and it's 1-2. His 62 career wins are 43 more than any other player born in Taiwan. Wei Yin Chen is in the Baltimore rotation. He was born in Taiwan. He's won 19.
In the first of those 2 19-game win seasons with the Yankees, he was pitching alongside Randy Johnson and Mike Messina in that starting rotation, and he was the ace.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Randy Johnson won 17. Messina won 15. But Wang was 19-6.
Somebody wrote a story reminding us of the George Steinbrenner remark after Wang had that terrible foot injury here, that he thought that they should do away with pitchers being part of the lineup. There's a line drive to right field, in for a hit in front of Rajai Davis. Castro gets to third on the line drive single by Wallace. And it's first and third, one out as Wally connects.
Red Wallace swinging the bat very well now since coming back home on this series. And he's been more aggressive, quite frankly, at the plate. He's taken some good hacks. What an impressive drive that he hit to center field. A double late in last night's ball game against a left-hander. Now that's a Brett Wallace right there that could be very valuable. DH type player, occasionally at first base.
He's aboard for Brandon Barnes, who had 2 hits and 4 at-bats last night, driving in a run, scoring 1. 232 for the season for Barnes. Double play depth for the Jays. And strike 1 for Brandon. Brandon has hit well with men in scoring position this season. 73 hits, placing him in the top 5 among American League rookies. And we took a look at the American League rookies tonight. We were trying to figure out who the strong Rookie of the Year candidates are in the American League. Seems to be pretty wide open. Hit out toward right center field. That will be a gapper. That'll score 1 for sure. And here's Brett Wallace being waved home by Dave Tremblay. Here's the throw to the plate. Aaron Sebia with the tag, and he's safe. 2-0 Astros. Somehow Wallace got in head first ahead of the tag by Aaron Sebia on a 2-run double by Barnes. Looked like he would be out when that ball came into the catcher.
That's all-out effort. Dave Tremblay sends him and maybe sent a message. You better be safe. But nice job again by Brandon Barnes, who had a couple of hits in last night's ball game. Finding some success right now against right-hand pitching as he gaps one. Brett Wallace had a good read there as you saw him darting towards second base before the ball dropped. And now it is all-out time. And this is pretty darn close.
He got in the back door. Now he's at second for Marwin Gonzalez. Ball 1 to Marwin. 230 batting average. 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. See that tag attempt.
Yep, he did come up empty right there.
Did.
Yeah, that was something you couldn't see from the other angle. What a great job by Wallace to get outside of the tag zone.
Yeah, it's a fadeaway head first slide. Bouncer to shortstop. Reyes backhands and throws across for the out. Barnes was hitting .327 with men in scoring position before that 2-run double. And here's the way it happened at home.
Well, you don't think of Brett Wallace as being this guy, gifted athletically, trying to score and creating that dive at the plate, but that was beautifully done.
It really was. It was almost as if he stole a run. It sure looked as if he would be out. And just watching Dave Tremblay, the third base coach, was fun. He looked like a jockey going to the whip, trying to urge him on.
I think that's what you do. You are on the line as a third base coach when you send that guy.
You bet. Strike to Jonathan Villar. He had 2 triples last night. Drove in 2 with the second triple, going 2 for 4 in the game. 256 with 3 runs batted in, acquired in the Roy Oswalt trade. You made a Roy Oswalt reference earlier to that slow curveball from Brad Peacock. That one bounced up there. It hit something in Karam now. Looked like it hit him. Almost went out of play. On the wild pitch, Barnes gets to third. Kicked off the shin guard maybe of Aaron Sebia. It looked like at first it hit Villar, but that was not the case.
That's the breaking ball, and Aaron Sebia did what you're supposed to do, but when the ball bounces that far out in front, it's going to come up too much. Hits the mask. That mask has that rounded shape, and baseball is likely to go to one side or another.
Now on the wild pitch, it's Barnes at third with 2 outs in the inning. That was a fascinating statistical look that Layla Rahimi had for us earlier. An early career comparison for Jose Reyes to where Jonathan Villar is early in his career now.
I think tool-wise, they're very similar players. Switch hitters, excellent speed, slashers of the baseball from the left side of the plate.
Pretty intriguing here, Ash, to look at their numbers.
Yeah, obviously, Reyes has been around for a good long while, and he's shown effectively who he is. But again, you size up tools right now, and Jonathan Villar looks like he could be that kind of player.
Slaps it in. Reyes to his right. Makes a quick throw to first. Safe at first, and the run scores. Great hustle by Jonathan Villar to beat a routine 2 hopper. And Reyes, of course, knew he had to hurry with Villar's speed. Barnes scores to make it 3-0 on the single by Villar.
Gotta hand it to Mike Winters, first base umpire, and the crew chief down there, making what appeared to be a very good call, and we'll take that peek right here. And Villar hustling down the line as Reyes tried to come up with it, but that throw on the inside appears to pull Lind off the bag. Let's see right here. Yeah. Has to come on off.
In fact, it's ruled an error on Reyes' throw. And there you see it. First baseman pulled his foot, so no RBI for Villar. And an error on Reyes, his third. Now Robbie Grossman, as the throw goes over to first, is the batter. Well, you might say error, and that's what the official score did say, but Villar certainly created that with his speed. So even though he technically does not get a hit, does not get credited with an RBI, he made something happen with a ground ball to the left side, batting left-handed, and that's what the Astros would like to see him do a lot.
You know, when that speed creates a play that's that close inherently at first base, it's a tough error.
It is. You know, because by virtue of his speed, he causes Reyes to rush the throw, which pulls the first baseman off the base.
Exactly. Without the rush, Villar beats the play, and therefore you create the scenario that says, well, is that really an E?
That's it out to center field. Anthony Ghost comes in for it with the catch. And the Astros do some base running here in the second inning. A Castro double, a Wallace single, a Barnes double. Villar beats out a play at first, 3-0.
Here on Astros Baseball on CSN, and want to let you know about In-Game Live. It enhances your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. In-Game Live only on CSNHouston.com. And Bill and Alan, I want to update you on catcher Max Stassi's condition. We talked to him today. He's undergoing the concussion protocol, and he says he's still experiencing some bouts with fatigue. Stassi has a busted lip. He says he's still undergoing all of the concussion symptoms, but he said he had not seen the video of getting hit by Tanner Shepard in that 8th inning against Texas until today. And he said when it happened, he thought his nose was broken and had to ask one of the traders if it was on straight. So he's pretty thankful that he wasn't hit cleanly, but still suffering a little bit.
Well, that's a scary time. Any time a hitter goes to the plate and the ball comes up and in the way it did, glanced off his shoulder. Very, very scary situation. Kevin Pillar is the batter, and it's a 2-1 strike count. Pillar hits it in the air, and the center fielder Barnes comes over, and it's out number 1 for Brad Peacock.
Yeah, Brownie, it's scary to the extent that when I initially saw that hit by pitch, I thought Stassi took it directly on into either the jaw or the nose region.
Yeah,
that was it was an ugly looking pitch that, because it hit him in the shoulder initially, I think he really got saved from serious injury.
Very much so. Jose Reyes struck out looking, leading off the game. There's ball 1. The Blue Jays have lost 6 in a row. They lost their last 5 despite scoring the first run in each game. That's the longest streak of that nature in their history. They fell behind in this one. And that's in for a strike for a 1-1 strike count for Brad Peacock. Now ball to first. Wallace has it. Tossing to Peacock. 2 outs. And Rajay Davis will be next. Here's a stat for you, Layla. Alan Ashby played 965 games for the Astros in his career and 205 games for the Blue Jays. Only one other player appeared in 200 or more games for both of these teams. Cliff Johnson.
Huh.
You know, it kind of figured I'd get lumped in with Cliff Johnson at some point.
Here I was just trying to add all the games together.
No, I was adding up what it really meant, and I don't know which one of us should be upset, me or Cliff.
Always looking at the bigger picture, Ash.
Yeah, I think it's Cliff that's probably calling his lawyer right about now.
Rajay Davis, broken bat roller to short. VR throws and just barely nips him at first for a 1-2-3 third for Peacock and a 3-0 lead for the Astros.
Moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. August 24th of 2010, the Astros complete a sweep of the Phillies with a 16-inning 4-2 win in Philadelphia. Former Astro Roy Oswalt plays left field after Ryan Howard is ejected in the 14th inning and makes the final out. And Jeff Bagwell and Jeff Blum applaud. Yeah. That's where a little power shagging comes in handy.
Shortly after Roy got traded to the Phillies, Jonathan VR came back the other way. Now L.J. Hose leads it off in the home third inning. He struck out in the first. 3-0 Astros. Showing bunt. He takes, and it's ball 1 from Chin-Min Wong. Mark Burley goes tomorrow for the Toronto Blue Jays. He shut out the Astros in Toronto back in July. Dallas Keuchel takes them out for Houston tomorrow. It's a 1:10 start. 12:30 for Astros pregame live.
You know what Mark Burley is, among a whole lot of other things on the positive side? He's a great getaway day pitcher for a club. He's the guy that'll run it up there quickly, keep the ball game moving.
Yes.
Get you on that airplane.
Very quick worker. Way outside. 3-0. LJ Hose, the last 10 days, has hit .438. Second only to Robinson Cano in the American League the last 10 days. He takes a 4-pitch walk. First walk of the night for Wong. And his 9th in his 27th inning. In his career, he's kept his walks very much under control. Not a big strikeout guy, but the double play ball has been a staple for him. Hose has 5 steals in 6 attempts. Altuve, who hit the fly ball to center in the first inning, went down on 1 pitch. Well, Porter selecting to DH Altuve tonight rather than play him at second. Hose takes off. Here's a throw from the knees. Aaron Sebia sails it into center field. It's backed up by Ghost. And a stolen base for Hose, his 6th in 7 tries.
JP Arencibia will throw from the knees like this on a number of occasions. Has a good strong arm, but at times has difficulty being accurate, and especially when challenged like this, as LJ Hose does. Well, he's been good in a number of categories, Hose.
Solid in the base stealing department. Good base runner as well. Altuve hits a slicing line drive. Rajay Davis with the catch. That'll get Hose from second to third as the throw is way offline. 1 out, and a good productive out as it's termed, because Altuve is able to get that runner to third, especially when there's nobody out in the inning.
Well, that stolen base sets up the opportunity. Without the stolen base, you've got 1 out, the man at first base. It just provides golden opportunities.
Well, you'd think he'd gotten a home run the way they high-five him. That's how much that means to get that runner to third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, that's the appreciation you get on the bench, and it's a very good thing. It starts to swell and grow with all the players.
Now with the infield in, Castro gets a shot. He doubled to left in the second inning. And it's ball 1. Tigers beat the Mets in New York 3-0 today. Max Scherzer won his 19th. He is 19-1. He beat Matt Harvey, who's 9-5. Joaquin Benoit got his 17th save. That was a 3-hitter. So do you go ahead and award the Cy Young now to him?
I was just about to say, I think you've been silly about that 19-1 stuff. That doesn't happen.
No, it really doesn't happen.
And, you know, there's still a fair amount of baseball to be played, but it would appear he's just about got a death grip on that thing.
Well, he's had run support, but look at the other numbers. The whip is under 1. He's had 196 strikeouts. Batting average under 200 against Max Scherzer. Everything has fallen into line. He has done a fabulous job, and the Tigers have supported him with runs as well. One to count, and now 2 balls, 2 strikes to Castro. Well, Harvey's had an outstanding year himself. He's in the mix among the ERA leaders in the National League, but he probably will be shut down in September, reaching an innings limit. Castro takes ball 3. Red Sox beat the Dodgers 4-2 in Los Angeles today. That snapped the Dodgers winning streak at 4. John Lester went to 12-7. Youngjin Ryu, the loser, 12-5. Koji Uehara got his 13th save. Johnny Gomes his 11th home. That'll get the run home. Deep drive to right field, and maybe 2 runs home. Jason Castro, a 2-run shot to right. Number 16 for Castro. That gives him 50 runs batted in. The Astros lead it 5-0.
It's starting to become a show for Jason Castro. The extra bases have been very impressive. I think you could almost see it on the face of Bo Porter there. Wow, young man. We knew you were good, but This is starting to look maybe even more impressive than we thought.
Castro goes deep. Joe Ferguson hit 16 back in 1977. Now Matt Dominguez puts that one in the air, and the left fielder coming over for it. Pilar with a catch for out number 2.
Wong goes with that sinker again. This time, instead of lining it the other way, Castro reaches out, turns it to right field. And he's a strong fella. See how he extends the bat upward over his head. He tries to keep the barrel in the hitting zone as long as possible.
Well, the club record for homers by a catcher in a season, 17, set by John Bateman, 1966. Astros one away from it. Foul ball by Wallace. Wallace hit a line drive single to right in the second inning. So Castro's setting all kinds of milestones for an Astros catcher. That's the club record for doubles, also extra base hits. 0-2. Boston got 4 in the first in that 4-2 win at Los Angeles today. 3-run homer by Gomes. 1-2, big win for the Red Sox. And they are being pressured by Tampa Bay. They were in a tie starting play today. Tampa Bay and the Yankees scoreless now after 2.5 tonight in St. Petersburg. Wong pulled the string and struck out Wallace. Castro, though, has a double and a 2-run homer tonight. The Astros lead at 5-0 after 3. Out night with the bats. They scored 12 runs on 15 hits last night in a 12-4 win. Brad Peacock works the 4th inning now. Edwin Encarnacion takes his pitch, and it's strike 1. Edwin walked his first time up. Another glittering season for Edwin. I mentioned that 2-home run game he had in Toronto against the Astros. He hit 2 homers in 1 inning, in fact. There you see his increasing patience at the plate. We mentioned he has 69 walks, 55 strikeouts, so the walk to strikeout ratio much more favorable.
He's always been dangerous, and now he's just simply become a better hitter. And in the process, because he is so dangerous, he'll draw his walks, lays off tough pitches that at one time would just put him away. That slider down and away couldn't lay off. This is a guy who, about 4 years back in Toronto, fans were trying to buy him a ticket out of town. But they hung on to him, had a little patience. Late in the season, he survived and played well, and he has been dynamite since.
So he, like Jose Bautista, has certainly flourished north of the border. Just remembering Encarnacion as a third baseman with the Cincinnati Reds. And he had been drafted by Texas and traded to Cincinnati. He was having problems with his fielding, especially. A lot of errors at third base. And he's done quite a bit of DHing in the American League, so that seems to have been a very good move for him. He was hitting 15, 16 homers a year there at Cincinnati. So like Bautista, he really exploded when he got north of the border for whatever reason.
Well, it almost didn't happen. But for one September where he got hot, especially the very end of the month, and the Blue Jays decided, well, you know what, let's give this guy another look. And every look since has been about as good as they come.
There's a leadoff walk, and Peacock walking him for the second time in the game.
Next Saturday, August 31st, Houston Methodist is giving away 10,000 replica rainbow batting practice jerseys. That's prior to the 6:10 start against the Mariners. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for your tickets.
Layla, are you going to model one for us again? Oh, yes. That's a great, very professional job.
Everybody needs a little rainbow under their armpits.
That'll blend the batter. There's ball one. Lind hit a ground ball to shortstop in the first inning. Layla's coming up with a collection. But this has been the idea behind all these promotions, of course, this season. The fans who come to all these games get the complete assortment of Astros uniforms. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. The Athletics won at Baltimore 2-1 with a run in the ninth inning. Jared Parker, the winner, going to 10-6. Darren O'Day lost it. Grant Balfour got his 32nd save. Coco Crisp hit his 13th homer. That was the deciding ninth inning shot off O'Day. Ryan Flaherty hit number 8 for the Orioles. Lynn takes, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. So the O's fall 5.5 behind Boston right now. Yankees are breathing down their necks. Yankees and Tampa Bay scoreless after 3 tonight at the Trop. Foul back, and it's 2-2. Brad Peacock. It's his 9th start as an Astro. And here in the remaining 5 weeks of the season, the Astros with these young pitchers we talked about. Brett Oberholzer is going to start Monday. Jared Cozart, Peacock. We know Jordan Lyles has had a lot more time in the big leagues. We'll get a full read on them by the end of the year. Now 3-2. Baltimore got a great start from Chris Tillman today. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Dallas Keuchel gets the ball tomorrow. Astros packing their bags for another trip. Just got back from a 9-gamer. They go away on 3 games next. Out to second. There's the flip. Marwin Gonzalez, Jonathan Villar, and a good play on the end by Brett Wallace to make it a 4-6-3 double play. He had to dig that one out.
Jonathan Villar struggling with the throws a bit as he got the final out of the 3rd inning. Rajai Davis hitting a ground ball. He took some off the throw, and it wasn't the best. And this one right here just beautifully set up. But like you say, it does take that fine pick by Wallace to complete it. You can smile and laugh when everything works out, and that's the way it tends to go with good clubs. But you do want to make that good throw.
Brett Lawrie is the batter. He doubled to left center field. There's ball one. Well, first baseman can save so many errors over the course of a season by scooping those low throws.
You know, and on top of that, I thought that was a very nice start to the double play by Marwin Gonzalez.
Dominguez goes across. And in the fourth inning, it's no runs, no hits, nobody left. 5-0 Astros.
The Blue Jays 5-0, and whether you're from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, or New Mexico, CSN Houston covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com. Hey, speaking of Arkansas, you know who's from Arkansas? Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, not just Dallas Keuchel, who went to school there, but also the newest member of the Astros, catcher Cody Clark.
Absolutely, and half of Arkansas came down to see him at his debut last night.
And I think the other half watched our broadcast, and that's always neat.
Yes, it is. Chad Jenkins has just arrived tonight from AA New Hampshire. He's in this game with no decisions at AA and a 1.20 ERA. 15 innings there after being the 20th overall pick in the 2009 draft.
Apparently the hitters in that league are glad to see him gone. 190 the overall batting average against righties and lefties. Pretty darn close, but the righties at 188.
Brandon Barnes first up, taking strike one. Chad's 25 years old. Jenkins was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, went to Kennesaw State. Pitched 13 times last year for the Blue Jays. Reyes left the ball behind, and Barnes is aboard on the error. And that's the second of the night for Reyes and fourth of the season.
Very impressive number, just even with all the time on the DL this year. Reyes can be one of the game's slickest shortstops.
That time not so slick, and it's Marwin Gonzalez batting. Marwin grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat tonight. Chops this one slowly by the mound, and there's a quick throw to first by Goins. For out number one, with Barnes taking second base.
A lot going on there for young Ryan Goins as he comes on. He's got to have Brandon Barnes pass right by him and then make the play on a ball that appeared to bounce a bit toward his left. This ball, as it takes this hop, it kicks toward that first base side, and that made the play all the tougher.
He stayed with it. He's been a shortstop, only has played a few games at second base. Well done there by Goins. Jonathan VR comes up. He reached on an error in the second inning. Goins backhands, gets up and throws to first. Good play there for out number two. Barnes to third base. I would imagine for a guy who's been primarily a shortstop, that stacks up as a fairly difficult play. It's just a different angle than he would be used to at shortstop.
You get that chance to play at second base, you can slow things down compared to playing at shortstop, where, well, you've got to be just spot on, making the plays quickly all the time.
Now it's Robbie Grossman. Robbie lined to right field and hit a fly ball to center. This one goes to left and off the wall and left. Robbie heads for second. The run has scored. He's in with an RBI double. That's 21 runs batted in for Robbie Grossman. Double number 11. Barnes scoring to make it 6-0 Houston.
What is it you want from those corner outfielders? Extra base pop and ability to drive in runs. Robbie Grossman has been providing that. Does a nice job on this ball, running away, driving it away. Continues to flex muscles from both sides of the plate.
That gives him an 11-game hitting streak. That's a new career high. He had a 10-game streak when he first came back up from Oklahoma City. And now he has an 11-game stretch. This one gets away, and he's taking off for third. Aaron Sebia unable to corral that pitch to L.J. Hose for ball one.
Yeah, that's your likely pass ball scenario, and looks like Aaron Sebia might have gotten crossed up on the pitch. I'd heard that the Toronto Blue Jays have had just a load of cross-ups, and that's the same thing we've seen with the Astros this year, and it's an odd scenario.
That's the 12th pass ball for Aaron Sebia. Foul back. Chen-Min Wong in 3 innings allowed 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. He walked 1 and fanned 2. He's on the bench right now with the count 1-1 for Chad Jenkins. The error on the Barnes grounder makes this an unearned run. Inside for a ball. The Blue Jays have had well, less than a stellar year in the field. They've now allowed 60 unearned runs. They've made 89 errors. That's in the air to right field. Rajai Davis still going at the wall. It kicks back off the wall. Another run scores, and that's an RBI double for Hose. A long way to right field for LJ. Unloading double number 4 to give him 5 runs batted in now and a 7-0 Houston lead.
So what do you like from that 2-hitter? You like a guy who can hit it on the right side. You can utilize that hole on the right side when the leadoff man gets on base and take advantage. Do you want a guy who drives the ball and drives in runs? Why not? If you do, you like LJ Hose and what he's been doing. Boy, has he been impressive.
He really has. He's been tattooing right field for a lot of his hits. So we had back-to-back opposite field doubles by Grossman and Hose, bringing up Altuve. He tops that one foul. 6 hits tonight for the Astros. 5 for extra bases. That's what they did last night. They had 15 hits. 8 were extra base hits.
Who are these guys? Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. You got to bring that line back.
Well, guys, just wanted to bring up a quick point. I talked about Porter last night about the adjustments the team had made against Todd Redmond, and he said that John Maley and Dan Redison, the hitting coaches, have done a good job with getting their hitters to find pitches to drive for extra bases.
We've sure seen that again tonight.
That's where I was going with this. I don't think it was just against Redmond. Clearly, it seems like that's something they've done fairly well in this series so far.
Well, Porter was visiting with Rick Smith, the general manager of the Houston Texans, during batting practice tonight. Rick brought out his son and a friend. He was a big Texans fan. Played football at Iowa. Right around the same time Smith played at Purdue. One and 2, and you see the Astros since August 13th. In the last 10 games, they've hit .290, on base average .343, 5 runs per game. Big increases in what they had been doing prior to that. As a team, their on-base average is .299 coming into this game. So when they get this kind of production, Grossman and Hose, and then the guys at the bottom of the order too. Barnes has picked it up these last couple of games. VR, that gives them a chance to really string together some crooked numbers. In the air to right field, Davis waiting. And the Astros come up with a couple more runs here in the fourth inning on 2 hits with an error and a man left. Opposite field double Grossman. Opposite field double Hose. 7-0 Astros.
We want to remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience.
Big lead now, 7-0 for Brad Peacock. And he goes to the 5th inning facing Aaron Sebia, Gose, and Goins. This is what happened last night with Jordan Lyles getting the early run support. The Astros got 8 runs in the first 4 innings, and Lyles coasted to a 12-4 win. He went 7 1/3 innings. And as he said after the game, that lead allowed him to just try to nip that outside corner at the knees with his fastball, and he just pounded away at that area most of the night. See if Peacock follows that same pattern. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It might not always work for the betterment of the pitcher's ERA, but that's one way to get through quick innings if you can hit his spots.
Well, if you can spot that down and away corner, sometimes guys will get on you, but that's a great way, as you imply, to get some quick outs.
Wallace goes over near the stands, reaches out and he snags it. Then he leans over into the stands and comes out with it for out number 1.
Now, Brett Wallace has had his difficulties with pop-ups on the course of the year, but he appears to be making some big strides in terms of making these plays. You'd like to get to that wall more directly and early if possible, but again, Brett Wallace just continues to make plays.
And Sebia fouls out. Now Anthony Gose is the batter. That's a great pitch at the knees for strike 1 on Gose, who grounded back to the pitcher first time up. Ground ball hit through the right side. Gose has a single. Peacock working quickly though.
We'll take a little in-depth look at what Brad Peacock has been doing since being called up. Early on in the year, 69% fastballs, and you can see a curve and changeup mixed in. Now he's come back with a slider, throwing the changeup more, the fastball being utilized yet less, but more effectively when utilized. So a little different looking Brad Peacock.
Ryan Goins is the batter. He struck out in the second inning. Peacock worked around a leadoff double in that one. He's given up just 2 hits tonight. That's into left field. Goins comes up with another hit. He had a couple last night. He's hitting his first 2 major league games, and Pilar will bat next. Pilar hit a fly ball to center field in the 3rd inning. With Scherzer going to 19-1 and Detroit's win over the Mets today, he joined Rube Marquard from 1912 and Roger Clemens from 2001 as the only pitchers to win 19 of their first 20 in a season. That's ball 1 to Pilar.
That pitch, I believe I heard, was called down, and we've seen lower called for strikes this evening.
Yes. Pilar's from West Hills, California. Two balls, no strikes.
That's tough when you make a couple of pitches right there where pitching coaches want you to work it down around the knees, and you look up and it's 2-0 on the hitter.
That's a line shot into the seats.
And then you're forced to come up and you bring it mid-thigh high toward the belt, and it just gets drilled. It's a very tough aspect about pitching in the big leagues. Can't get the one around the knees, so you put it up in that happy crush me zone, and most of the time that's exactly what's going to happen.
Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peacock's done a great job of handling hitters with men in scoring position. His last 6 games, they are 1 for 16 against him with men in scoring position, and had the leadoff double in the 2nd inning tonight. Got the next 3. Ball off the plate makes it a full count now to Pilar. Peacock shooting for win number 3 of this season.
Peacock with a 7-0 lead, and that can feel kind of secure, but a couple of men aboard facing the 9-hitter, you lose him and then turn to the top of the order. This game could turn around quickly.
In the air to left center field. That's drilled. Grossman looking up. That ball hits high off the wall, stays in play. 1 run in. RBI double by Pilar, and that's his 2nd major league run batted in. It makes it 7-1. Almost a 3-run homer. Now the umpires are going to huddle, it would appear. See if maybe they will review to see if that was a home run instead, and that would make a major difference.
Tough ballpark, tough area of a tough ballpark, and again the umpires much more inclined now, with replay being enhanced next year, to see if they can get things right and do it immediately. I only see this as a very good thing for the game. Where does this ball hit? That's a home run.
Yes, it is. That's a 3-run homer.
Yeah, that's going to turn things quickly.
7-3 ball game. So Pilar will get his first home run when they review this and come out and make the announcement. It'll be his first major league homer.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the first couple of pitches there to Pilar. The first of which I thought was an absolute pitch at the knees. The next one, bottom of the knees, both balls called. And from that point on, you just have to pitch differently up in the zone. And suddenly the Blue Jays have 3 runs on the board, or should.
That light colored column there above the yellow line.
I'm a bit surprised it's taking this long with the umpires, because I thought that was quite evident what we saw.
It is a tough read with that light colored background on the columns, though. So doesn't hurt to be sure of the call, and that's why they're in reviewing it now. Pilar hit 4 home runs at AAA Buffalo in 52 games this year. I've been at AA New Hampshire as well, so this will be a special moment for him on his first major league homer when they come back out and announce it to the world.
Boy, I remember that first major league home run. I had a little layover at second base, but then the jog was really nice.
One of the longest home run trots on a first major league homer.
You'd think he'd want to get around a little more quickly.
That does change the complexion of it now. 7-3 Houston.
You want to see it again. I think what you'll see is a ball that clearly hits above the yellow line. Right there, right on the corner, the edge of that upright.
Now it's a 4-run lead, and Reyes is the batter. Ball 1. Peacock has surrendered 12 long balls this season. That's in 52 innings. First career homer for Pilar. Tightens this game up quite a bit to a 4-run lead. And it's 2 balls, no strikes. And the Blue Jays are known for belting home runs. That's number 156 for them. They're second in the American League. That can sometimes happen when a pitcher has a big lead. He's going to tend to challenge a hitter, especially on a 3-2 count. And now Jonathan Villar comes in from shortstop as the count runs to 3-0. Three balls, 1 strike to Reyes. Reyes puts it in the air near the left field line. Jonathan Villar over. Reaches back, hits a fair ball for out number 2.
Jonathan Villar is a very confident looking player defensively. That little reach back to his left in fair territory. To me, when you see that kind of body language, it's just a guy who knows he's got it. Just relax. I'll take care of this. So if you're a pitcher, you might be thinking, center that thing up a little bit more.
Yeah, well, it's a fair ball after all. And now Rajay Davis hits one in the air to right field. L.J. Hose with the grab. 3-run score on the long ball by Pilar. It's 7-3 Astros. Astro hit their home run in the third inning. He also has a double tonight.
Stings one to left field, shoots this to the wall. That's the two-bagger. And he's going to get almost the same pitch out of over the plate, but get the barrel out in front, yank it to right field. He just looks like as confident a hitter right now as you'll see.
Since July 30th in 19 games, 362, 4 homers. He's driven in 15. It's a great RBI clip for Jason, taking ball one.
See a lot of guys get hot over a brief period of time. Nice batting average. It'll be a lot of singles. Not for Jason Castro.
Has a .469 slugging percentage coming into this game, and it's gone up with his double and homer. Two for two tonight. That's off the plate for Chad Jenkins. In for a strike. That makes it 2-1. The Blue Jays home run threat. The Astros would love to add to their lead. They've out-hit the Jays so far 6-4. Castro takes a walk.
MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Astros baseball at its high-tech best. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for the details. Matt Dominguez, what a producer he has been of late, and he seems to do it at crucial times for the club.
0 for 2 tonight. A strikeout looking, a fly ball to left field. I like that big 3-run shot against the Angels.
3-3 ball game, suddenly 6-3.
Fly ball goes to right field. Ajay Davis without #1. Happened to read that article by Scott Miller on CBS Sportsline about the Angels organization today.
You were telling me about that, and apparently not real flattering about the way things have gone.
Not at all. He really takes on the owner, Artie Moreno, for a lot of different things. And he reports that there was a problem in the clubhouse last year between Torrey Hunter and Albert Pujols. They almost came to blows after having a players-only meeting, and so not exactly angelic in Angel land.
I wonder why that comes up a year later, and of course Torrey Hunter now gone, and you wonder, does that factor into why Hunter became expendable? A guy who is still playing very good baseball now with the Tigers.
Strike one to Brad Wallace. Good question. Wallace 1 for 2, but there also was a report today by Fox Sports that there will be a change in the structure of the Angels, that it will be either the general manager Jerry DiPoto or the skipper Mike Scioscia who will be leaving after this season.
It's you or me, pal.
Sounds like it might be.
Meet you after sunset.
Well, Scioscia's been such a rock in that organization for so long, and it just doesn't seem as if he and DiPoto have been on the same page, according to the reports we've been hearing this year.
A lot of reports early last year, this year, that Mike Scioscia was going to be gone. I don't know how you do it. The guy has been such a successful manager. He's been, I think, fundamentally one of the game's best skippers. Apparently he's lost it, huh?
And a manager is only as good as his players.
Mike Scioscia under contract for years to come. 2018, the last year on that deal. But Artie Moreno has spent money in other directions that maybe has not been or will not be spent quite as well as even that one.
Well, he renamed the team the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
How's that worked out?
Wallace strikes out. That's out #2. And from the reports, the reason he did it was he saw this opportunity to sort of capture the Southern California market, when in effect it's gone the other way. Now the Dodgers have had this tremendous run, and they've got Yasiel Puig and Clayton Kershaw and all the new guys who came from Boston. Most of them are playing well, so it appears that they have gained an even tighter foothold in that market.
Yeah, I just don't see that as an area that wants to coexist. I think Orange County wants to be Orange County, and I think LA wants to be their own, and I just don't see where the folks in Orange County can be pleased because their ball club is suddenly named the LA Angels of Anaheim.
Brandon Barnes takes strike one. And this coming from a guy who grew up in Southern California.
Yeah. It's like them's fighting words.
1 ball and 1 strike. What if they tried to change the name of the New York Mets?
Well, the way things have gone, it might be coming.
Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Trying to think of what the Mets could become known as, but
well, back in the old days, they had the Brooklyn Dodgers, but it was the New York Giants.
Yeah, the New York Mets of LaGuardia, of Queens, of Flushing.
Flushing.
There you go. Now we got it.
So is the idea to claim as big an expansive territory as you possibly can?
Apparently.
All right. It can be kind of like the Louisiana Purchase back in the Thomas Jefferson days.
I think that may be out of the question at this point, Brownie.
Okay.
Might be overstretching.
Strikeout looking, and Jenkins retires 3 in a row after the leadoff walk. After 5, the Astros lead the Blue Jays 7-3.
Fans of the game are the Texas Chaos softball team from League City. I am joined by their head coach, Terry Spencer, and they won the World Series in Panama City in July. That's right?
Yes, they battled hard for a whole week, went undefeated, 8U, and ended up taking the World Series. They're national champions from League City.
Well, they've been really fun to sit with and enjoy the game, and I understand you guys have a cheer, right? Coach, take it away.
Yep, they're ready. You ready, girls? 1, 2, 3.
Who are we? Chaos! Who are we? Chaos! 1, 2, 3, Chaos!
So there you go. That's our cheering section. They are our progressive fan of the game. Let's send it back upstairs.
That's a high-energy group, Layla. Thank you.
Fun to sit with, too. Good baseball fans. Always having good cheers whenever the lefties come up, which I appreciate.
Very good. There's a shot to left center field. Encarnacion hits one a long way. And that one is going to get out. And that's his 33rd of the season, second in as many nights here to make it now a 7-4 ball game. Encarnacion has 95 runs batted in. The Jays have their 157th home run of the year.
Yeah, this game is turning quickly now with these long balls for the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnacion can make it look awfully easy. Great power, even on a pitch out over the plate, but again up in the zone. Brad Peacock's starting to get nailed now as he leaves it up.
Fourth home run for Encarnacion against Astros pitching this year. And now Adam Lind will be the batter. Taking strike one. Lind 0 for 2. Hit the ball on the ground both times. The Astros have some bullpen action going. Looks like Eric Bedard. No, it's Kevin Chapman. 1-1 the count. With Bedard going to the bullpen now, the Astros will have a second left-hander. Brett Lawrie on deck. It's a 2-ball 1-strike count. Peacock has had 3 consecutive quality starts. Now, this one can't be that because he has allowed 4 runs so far, but he can certainly still be a winner. But now in the 6th inning, with the Blue Jays getting their second home run in the space of the last 4 batters, they're presenting a threat to that win. It's 3 balls and a strike. Encarnacion unloaded. It's a shot into right center field. Lind is aboard.
Starting to see more and more fastballs here from Brad Peacock and a bit up in the zone, and that's one of them. It's driven out to that same area where we saw the home run from Pilar, a 3-run drive. But that fastball can be exactly what the hitter's looking for. You start leaving it in hittable zones, and very dangerous. Edwin Encarnacion employs that flying wing as he goes around the bags.
What's that all about?
I don't know. He kind of began that. It might have been last year or the year before, but that right arm he'll leave hanging up there until he claps hands with his third base coach. At that point, he'll run normally, but whatever, it has been working for the big guy.
Doug Brocail went out to impart some words to Brad Peacock. Now Peacock has given up 5 hits to the last 7 batters. We'll go to work on Brett Lawrie. Brett Lawrie had a double in this 2nd inning. He grounded out in the 4th. Fouls that one away for strike 1. Yankees got 2 in the 5th and lead at Tampa Bay 2-0 now in the bottom of the 5th inning. CC Sabathia has a shutout going with 2 outs in the 5th inning. David Price is on the other end of that one so far. Ichiro Suzuki and Austin Romine have the runs batted in. Derek Jeter plans to return to the Yankees lineup Monday night against the Toronto Blue Jays. Ball 1 strike. Yankees are making it interesting in the AL East in a very surprising way. They're 68-60 now. They put together a nice run. It's high to left center field. Barnes watching this one. That's a long shot out to the warning track. And a scary moment for Brad Peacock on a lengthy out number 1. Well, Lawrie with a bid to make it a 7-6 game comes up a few feet short.
Brad Peacock pumps another fastball. Blue Jays hitters take another big swing. I don't know what has gone on here in the last inning or so, but a lot of fastballs coming out of that right arm. Boy, that's right where you want to be as a hitter. And he somehow just gets under that a fraction.
JP Arencibia looks at ball 1.
Now we see the curveball.
Arencibia is 0 for 2.
I've seen little of that slider tonight.
Yeah, it's true. Pirates and Giants have a later start out at AT&T Park. Talented lefty Francisco Liriano takes a 14-5 record to the mound for Pittsburgh against Tim Lincecum. Broken bat, foul ball. Makes the count 1-1. Aaron Sevilla will go back for another. How about that race in the NL Central too? The Pirates, the Cardinals, and the Reds. Pirates leading St. Louis by 1 coming into play today.
You know, last year has nothing to do with this year in most cases in reality, but it's hard not to look at that race and think, boy, the Cardinals are just always too good. They're going to find a way. Love to see the Pirates be able to pull that off.
Been a long suffering bunch. Last playoff year 92. The Blue Jays last playoff year was 93. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Of course, then there's Dusty Baker's club, the Cincinnati Reds, and that's a talented bunch. Should be a great final 5 weeks.
Cubs and Padres have played 1, no score. Jeff Samardzija on the mound for the Cubs. Eric Stoltz pitching for the Padres. Peacock misses with that one. It's a 2-2 count. We're at 93 pitches for the night. Cardinals 2, Braves 1. They're in the bottom of the 5th at St. Louis. There's the pitch breakdown for Peacock with a quick 9-pitch third. Fastball gets a strikeout on Aaron Sevilla. 2 outs. Strikeout number 5.
One big flaw for Aaron Sevilla, that inclination to strike out. Takes the big home run swing all the time, and he'll hit a bunch, but it comes up empty far too often.
That's going to be the end of the night for Peacock. Bo Porter coming out to bring in his lefty Kevin Chapman. Peacock goes 5 2/3, and he leaves in a position to be a winner for the first time in his career at Minute Maid Park. The fans appreciative of his effort. 7-4 Houston. Back in a moment.
To 4. Join us next Friday, August 30th, for Big and Bite Friday night. Get here early as 10,000 fans will receive an inaugural AL West baseball courtesy of Kellogg. Stick around after the game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets. It's big and bright Friday nights. See you back upstairs.
We had one of those last night, Layla.
Certainly did. Lots of fireworks at the plate, seemed like.
Yeah. Kevin Chapman comes in. Not much in the way of fireworks against him. He has an ERA of 0. He has 1 save in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 1 hit. And now he works to a pinch hitter, Moises Sierra. Batting for Gose as John Gibbons goes with percentages here, taking the lefty hitting Gose out of the game, and Sierra looks at ball 1. Sierra started last night. He is 0 for 6 this year with this ball club. He was 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. He was with the Blue Jays last year and just recalled 3 days ago from AAA Buffalo. 2 balls, no strikes.
Kevin Chapman with a good 1-0 fastball inside edge and doesn't get the call.
Foul back by Sierra. Moises is 24 years old. He's from the Dominican Republic. 2 balls, 1 strike. Had 147 major league at bats last year with 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. In that Cardinals Braves game, 2-1 St. Louis, bottom of the 6th inning. Shelby Miller is the Cardinals starter against Julio Teheran. Carlos Beltran has hit his 23rd homer. Matt Carpenter is 10th. Fouled away. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Freddie Freeman hit number 16 for the Braves. The Astros put together a 7-0 lead through 4. Now it's 7-4 with a runner on and 2 outs in the 6th. Ground ball sharply hit. Gonzalez there. On over to Wallace. And it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left. Middle of the 6th inning here at Minute Maid Park. 7-4 Houston. Dealer Toyota, let's go places. Changes for John Gibbons now in the outfield. Rajai Davis has moved from right field to center field. And there's the new right fielder. He just pinch hit for Gose. Sierra in right field. 7-4 ball game. The Astros lead. There is Gonzalez taking, and it's strike 1. Marwin 0 for 2 tonight. 2 ground ball outs. Happy birthday wishes to Brian McTaggart of MLB.com. Shortstop goes out for it. Reyes turns, and the left fielder is in for the catch. Pilar takes care of out number 1. Jonathan VR will be batting next. He reached on an error with a run scoring on that play in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 2. Not only did Max Scherzer get the win today for Detroit to go 19-1, but he got a hit in that game at New York against the Mets. Jenkins gets strike 1 call. Jenkins really helping the Blue Jays cause. He's pitched 2 1/3 in relief of Chen Min Wong, the starter, going 3 tonight. Batting ninth. VR's hit .324 in the 9 spot.
Sounds like Max Scherzer is just showing off at this point.
Look at the on-base percentage, .375 out of the 9 spot for Jonathan VR. Chops this one by the mound. Goins rushing and making the play. 2 outs. We go to Layla Rahimi.
It's time for our Geico quote of the day, and it's about Robbie Grossman. He said, "It's about confidence. I'm enjoying myself and playing hard and going out there to win every night." He's talking about his recent success at the plate, and maybe no better example than last night, 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBI. And I talked to John Bailey about Grossman, and he said that the difference is Grossman isn't chasing as many pitches. He says we still want him to walk, but in order to do that, you've got to have pitchers who use an offensive threat. So he's swinging more, therefore getting more hits. And pitchers are now also more careful in the early part of the count because of what he's doing at the plate offensively, swinging the bat, and therefore seeing that success.
He just took ball 1, and now he rolls it out to second. Goins over to Lynn. So 1-2-3-6. Good long distance relief for Jenkins with 3 innings. 7-4 Astros.
The Astros will welcome Olympic gold medalist and 2-time world champion softball star Cat Osterman to throw out the first pitch. Get here early for the 7:10 game, as Cat will be signing autographs between 6 and 6:30 on the main concourse. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets.
That makes it easy for you. Main concourse, that's pretty close to most people when they come to Minute Maid Park. And another sizzler in Houston. Maybe some rain coming tomorrow, the weatherman says.
Bring it.
Yeah. Goins leads it off. It's 7-4 Houston. Kevin Chapman gets strike 1 in relief of Brad Peacock. Peacock in 5 2/3 allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, walking 2, fanning 5. He threw 94 pitches, 55 were strikes. Chapman brings that one across the plate, and it's 0-2 to Goins. George Springer has a double and a walk tonight for Oklahoma City. It's 1-1 as the Red Hawks are in the bottom of the 4th against Round Rock. George also stole a base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Japhet Amador, the newcomer to the Oklahoma City team, the right-handed slugger from the Mexico City Red Devils. He's in the lineup at DH. He's 1 for 2 in his Red Hawk debut. Rolled out to second. Gonzalez over to Wallace. 1 out for Chapman. He's retired 2 in a row from 4 to 3 both.
George Springer needs 3 more home runs to get to 40. Is that right?
He has 37 home runs. He has 42 steals. So yes, 3 more homers to be a 40-40 man. Now Bull Porter is out. The right-handed hitting Pilar coming up next. Pilar ripped a 3-run homer in the 5th inning. It was 7-0 at the time, so that totally changed the complexion of this one. Chapman leaving after retiring both men he faced. And we'll get a right-hander out of the bullpen. Josh Zeid coming in. 7-4 Astros. Back in a moment.
It's time for the AT&T tweet of the game, coming from the general manager, Jeff Luhnow. 9-0 system sweep yesterday. Eric Castro hit a walk-off bases-loaded single and scored Ryan McCurdy for a 4-3 Corpus win over Midland last night. And if you want to take a look at the numbers as to how this sweep occurred, nice Gatorade share for those guys as well. Here they are. Delino DeShields Jr., we saw him in the Futures game. He's hitting .313, has 47 stolen bases, not bad. MB Kokonos has a .304 batting average. And also at the A level, Tyler Heineman, 95 games, hitting .300 and an .881 OPS. I'd say that in A-ball, that's pretty good numbers. Well, in the backup stand. Yeah,
and Layla, as you notice, MP Kokonos is a catcher, Tyler Heineman is a catcher, and they're both playing a lot. Well, one is DHing when the other one catches, so that has allowed them both to getting all that playing time this year. Now Josh Zeid in the game. Kevin Pilar, the batter, and he takes ball 1.
And to continue that theme, Delino DeShields Jr. is driving catchers crazy.
You know that. And he had the walk-off. It was a triple and an error, allowing his club, Lancaster, to walk off with that other walk-off win in the Houston system last night. Zeid brings it in for a strike. That makes it 1-1. Paid attendance tonight, 26,312. Josh Zeid is 0-1. His ERA 7.20. He's allowed 11 hits in 10 innings. In the air, and that's foul up the right field line and back into the seats. 1-2 the count. Indians lead the Twins in Cleveland. It's 7-1 in the middle of the 7th inning. Carlos Santana hit a 16th homer. Jason Kipnis had a number 16.
Ash, you brought up Delino DeShields Jr. driving catchers crazy. I saw him at the Futures game in New York at Citi Field, and I was like, so this is just like Lancaster, right? Totally the same park. He started laughing. He's like, this could not be more opposite.
Yeah, you're right about that. Bouncer, and Marwin Gonzalez unloads the throw. Gets him with a nice strong effort. 2 outs.
Yeah, it's a good point, Layla. But for a player like DeShields, a big ballpark may not be a bad thing. A large gap scenario and that chance to run, he just is ideal, I would think, in that big ballpark kind of scenario.
Right. Lefty Brett Cecil is warming up in the Blue Jays pen. Jose Reyes is 0 for 3. Dominguez plays on the grass at third for Reyes. Ball 1 for Zeid. Astros have really remade their bullpen since earlier in the year. Josh Side getting a chance to fit into this 7th inning equation with the 3-run lead. That's out to right center field. Ho's cutting over. Ho's on the run without number 3. 7th inning stretch time finds the Astros in front 7-4.
Is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Who was the last player to win 2 Triple Crowns? Of course, that's the batting Triple Crowns. Like Miguel Cabrera won last year and is trying to win again this year. Last player to win 2 Triple Crowns. Not necessarily back-to-back, but 2 in his career. Bill Brown's all over this one.
A lot of people would guess Frank Robinson.
He won 1 in each league, did he not?
I believe you're right. We're going to find out here in a minute. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Miggy Cabrera and Detroit roll along. Right here at 7-4 Astros. L.J. Ho's with a line drive to right field. And that first pitch is hit to Moises Sierra for out number 1. Chad Jenkins is one of the big stories of this game tonight. He came in the 4th inning. Gave up a couple of unearned runs in that frame. He's worked 3 1/3 in relief. He's thrown 39 pitches.
L.J. Ho's can hit. What I'm seeing right now, this is a guy who sees the baseball as long as you can and hits it solidly.
Yeah, those are not just flares to right field. Nope. He's hitting line drives to right field.
Yeah, he hits it like a left-hand hitter hitting a line shot that way.
And he keeps the right fielder deep enough so that he can get hits in front of him. That opposite field power he has. Altuve works the count to 1-1. Jose 0 for 3 in this game. Diamondbacks lead at Philadelphia 7-3. They're in the bottom of the 6th. That's a drive to right field. Sierra backing. Sierra with a good running catch. 2 outs.
A couple of years ago, a highly rated prospect for the Blue Jays in right field. Sierra, one of those guys who could blossom a bit on the latter side.
All 3 of their starting outfielders are on the disabled list right now. Normally it would be Bautista in right field. Sierra getting a chance to show what he can do tonight.
I want to tell you, Jose Bautista can play a right field that is played by very few in this game. Great throwing arm.
Jason Castro is a double and a homer tonight. Also a walk. There's ball 1. Jason's hit .317 in August. Jenkins has maintained a nice quick pace out of the bullpen tonight. He has mowed down the hitters.
Yeah, he's been good.
You know, a game like this could really have gotten out of hand, but we mentioned he gave up the 2 unearned runs in the 4th. He's just been clicking through the orders since then. That's high to right field. Moises Sierra watching this one fly over him, and another home run for Jason Castro. That's number 17 to tie the club record for homers by a catcher in a season. A 3 RBI game tonight for Castro. That gives him 51, and it's 8-4 Astros.
Sometimes guys tell me you just get to feeling it. And I think Jason Castro's feeling it right now. I think he's as confident as he's been as a big leaguer. Look at this short swing. Holds the hand steady until he unleashes the beast. And pretty much a no-doubt shot from the moment he hit it.
2 homers and a double to go with a walk for Castro tonight. Strike one to Matt Dominguez. He's 0 for 3. What a night for Castro.
And you're thinking to yourself, I've got to remember what I'm feeling right now, what I'm thinking. I want to keep this going.
Line drive to shortstop. That's out number 3. But Castro has given the Astros an 8-4 lead with his second bomb of the night.
Is at 7:10 against the Seattle Mariners. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets. And at last check, Bill and Alan, last night, there were more than $11,000 hot dogs consumed at the ballpark. I want a final total, but that's pretty solid for starters.
What a stat. Thanks, Layla. Rajay Davis with strike one. We have breaking news, Layla. We have a tweet from Morgan Ensberg. We were talking about that walk-off last night for Lancaster, Delano DeShields.
Yes, sir.
Triple and an error. He says it should have been a home run for DeShields last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wouldn't that have been something? An inside-the-park walk-off homer.
Shades of the Angel Pagan inside-the-park walk-off that happened earlier this year.
That's right. Good memory. So you remember that 11,000 hot dog stat for a while too, right? That's pretty rare.
Fortunately, I didn't consume any of them. And we can always count on Morgan Ensberg for the best tweets and breaking news. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a $1 hot dog tweet coming up because he's that good.
Morgan Ensberg's a big fan of that ball club.
Well, why not? What did he predict, that 10 of those guys would be major leaguers?
Yeah, you know, only time will tell, but that would be an extremely high figure. You're talking about an A-ball team that is apparently, by all accounts, loaded.
1-2 to Rajay Davis, with the Astros up by 4 now. Chopped. One big bounce. Wallace has it. 1 out. So Chapman got 2 outs, and now Zide has gotten first 3 men. And Encarnacion will be coming up next. He has not made an out tonight. 2 walks and a homer for Encarnacion. It's a very exciting time for a lot of the Astros minor league teams. Oklahoma City's magic number is 4 to clinch its division in the Pacific Coast League. The Red Hawks have a 7-game lead with 10 games left. They have the best record in the PCL, 77-57. Ball 1 to Encarnacion. Quad City's magic number is 3. So it seems that several teams will be headed to the playoffs in the Astros minor league system.
That perfect night last night for the system vaulted the Astros organization back on top in terms of minor league success.
Mike Winters calls that a strike on a swing for Encarnacion. That makes it 1-1 inside.
1 percentage point better than the San Francisco Giants, and Texas Rangers right behind. So 3 organizations really having great years.
Yeah. Good slider from Zide. 1-2 for Josh.
It's an over-the-top dragon right there.
He's vying for a spot in that bullpen for 2014 at age 26 now from New Haven, Connecticut. Part of the Hunter Pence trade coming from the Phillies along with Jared Kozar, John Singleton, Ingo Santana. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Morgan Ensberg says the dollar hot dogs here in Minute Maid are on us, Ash. We're buying dollar hot dogs.
Is that right?
If he'll show up, we'll buy.
Morgan, you get a lot right, but not everything.
3-2. Tell you what, if he'll show up, I'll buy him a steak dinner.
Well, Brownie, I'd like to be a part of that.
You're not invited. That's ball 4. It would be nice to see Morgan again.
Yes, it would.
But we have trivial things to pursue right now.
We do that. Astros Trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Who's that last player to win 2 Triple Crowns?
Is it Frank?
It was not Frank Robinson. I think he's won the MVP in both leagues, if I'm not mistaken. Ted Williams. 1942 and 1947.
Frank Robinson won 1 Triple Crown, but a lot of people think he won 2. Adam Lind is the batter. Lind single to right center in the 6th inning. 4-run lead here. And that's strike 1.
See, we're talking about great names recently. Ted Williams would be on that list as well. Lou Gehrig, though, on that list. And word is that he might be the other one that has won a couple of Triple Crowns.
Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I've had a little tweet come my way.
Wow. You're big on Twitter.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm watching your mad skills over there, and I'm very impressed.
Here's something for you, the All-Canada team, Ash.
All-Canada team.
All-Canada team.
Joey Votto's a big part of that thing.
He is the first baseman. Russell Martin is the catcher. We have some guys you never heard of on this team, like Pop Smith. Ground ball hit into right field. And went out and hooked it. Encarnacion to second. 2 men on now for Fred Laurie.
So how good is Miguel Cabrera? Well, let's compare him to a guy that's known as being pretty good, Ted Williams. Those numbers, 356 in 1942 for Ted, right on the money with what Cabrera's doing this year. Cabrera, more home runs. In 1947, just 32 dingers to win that thing for Ted Williams. Miguel Cabrera, I think historically, is going to rank right up there with some of the greats.
I think he's one of the greatest right-handed hitters ever. Fred Laurie takes strike 1. Now people who have been around and studied baseball say, well, that's a little ridiculous. Well, you know, his numbers do stack up extremely well against the top right-handed hitters in the game. You know, Rogers Hornsby hit .424 one year, so those are stupid numbers, but still, he ranks very high. He probably is in the top 5 right-handed hitters.
That was a very different game, though.
Yeah. 1-1. If his career ended right now, we have no idea what he's going to be doing. But just at the rate, at the OPS rate, you know, that type of statistic, the rate statistic, compared to the total number statistic, like home runs in a career, runs batted in, that sort of thing. Swing and a foul ball. Josh Fields in the bullpen. That makes it 1-2. Okay, so we have Pop Smith at second base. He was born in Nova Scotia in 1856, Ash. So you can take that with a grain of salt.
Didn't play with Willie Stargell, I guess, huh?
I don't think so. Left fielder Jason Bay. Center fielder Terry Poole. Right fielder Larry Walker. Starting pitchers Fergie Jenkins, Ryan Dempster, Russ Ford, don't know him, Rich Harden, Eric Bedard. Bouncer third. Dominguez plays it, now drops it, and throws. Oh, he got the out call at second. It looked like it was going to be late, but he got it there in time to get out number 2. And that was iffy.
That's a crucial out to get right there, and one that didn't look like the Astros were going to get. Get a peek here. See this in-between hop? That second hop is just a third baseman killer. Nice reaction, and bang bang at second base. Tough to tell. Boy, I might still be inclined to call Adam Lynn safe.
Harwin Gonzalez did everything he could do with that stretch to take the throw and to get the call. Now Bo Porter's calling time coming out with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Aaron Sebia, the batter, got Josh Fields in the bullpen. Piecing it together tonight after Peacock went 5 2/3. Chapman 2/3 of an inning. Zide has gone well. He came in the 6th and got the final out there. So it's been a nice run through the order for him. But does he have enough staying power, in the opinion of Bo, to now get Aaron Sebia, who's 0 for 3 in this game, and they talk it over at the mound? Well, it seemed as if Bo did not have his mind made up, but wanted to get a reading from the catcher and pitcher. Now decides to stay with Josh Zide. As Fields stays in the bullpen.
Well, the one area of concern with Aaron Sebia at the plate will certainly be the home run ball. And how do you stay away from that with Aaron Sebia? And the likelihood is stay away.
Well, after Aaron Sebia came into this game with 20 home runs, everybody has been warned about his power. He does not represent the tying run. 2 men on base. Sierra's on deck. And just to finish that all-Canadian team, the relief pitcher is Eric Gagne.
Ooh. Boy, in his heyday, never came any better.
There's strike 1. Now, do you think of him as a steroids guy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a guy guessing on that. I think that's the way it all came down in the end. And when those days seemed to end, his stardom certainly flared out. But
yeah, it was a flame out.
When he had it going on, it was as good as it comes.
Pop-up out of play makes it 0-2.
A lot of people think that only the hitters benefited from the steroids, but I think there was a lot of evidence to indicate otherwise. Jason Castro comes out with signs to infielders. Runner goes from first base. What are we going to do with the baseball?
Phillies have won some exciting games under Ryan Sandberg. They trail the Diamondbacks 7-3 in the bottom of the 7th tonight. Randall Delgado is the Arizona starter. Martin Prado hit his 13th homer for Kirk Gibson's club. Carlos Ruiz, number 4 for the Phillies. Roger Bernardina, number 3. Astros can put this series in the win column if they tuck away this game tonight and then go for a sweep tomorrow. They'll be facing Mark Burley tomorrow. Tough left-hander. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Burley is 9-7. His ERA is 4.23. shut out the Astros in Toronto. And they pitched well against them in the 05 World Series, well, with the Chicago White Sox. There's a lefty, Mark Burley. Over that big trade with the Marlins. Line shot off the glove of Dominguez, and a run will score to make it 8-5. It gets down into the foul territory outside the left field line. Thrown to second by Villar, not in time. Dominguez failing to hold the liner of Aaron Sebia. He winds up at second base, and it's an 8-5 game. And now the potential tying run will come to the plate. Tough inning for Dominguez at third base.
Clearly sharply hit ball, but I think Matt Dominguez, as tough as this play may have been, would tell you he should have made it. I think the ball was hooking enough off the bat that it just made it tough on Matt.
It was hooking. Aaron Sebia hit that hard and had some movement on it. Now Josh Fields will be coming out of the bullpen. Taking over for Josh Zeid. It is 8-5 Houston. Back in a moment. Astros close out their short homestand with the Blue Jays tomorrow afternoon. Astros pregame live starts at 12:30 with Layla Rahimi only on Comcast Sportsnet.
And now let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchups, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Mark Burley, quick-working left-hander veteran on the hill for the Blue Jays, 9-7, 4.23 the ERA. 12 straight seasons of 10-plus wins. On the other side, Dallas Keuchel, battle of left-handers, 5-7 with a 5.11. Ernie beat the Blue Jays back on July 27th.
Josh Fields comes in with runners at second and third, 2 outs, facing Moises Sierra with a 1-3 record, a 6.58 ERA. In the dirt, ball 1 to Sierra. Sierra came in as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning for Anthony Gose and grounded out. Astros stopped that one. Fields worked the final inning in last night's 12-4 win. He gave up a double to Goins, but did not allow a run. Had a strikeout last night. Josh threw 16 pitches in last night's game. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Astros bullpen has really been changing on the fly this year. With a few trades involved. Wesley Wright was traded to Tampa Bay. Among those deals that they've made, Jose Veras was dealt to Detroit. So the mix has certainly been changed in the late innings. Fields gets a swing there, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Chai-Jen Low has been one of the late inning guys along with Fields. Josh trying to end his 8th inning for Toronto and keep the Astros in front by 3 after they led 7-0. Following 4 innings of play. He gets it by Sierra for the strikeout. And the Blue Jays come away with 1 8th inning run on 2 hits, leaving 2 in scoring position. 8-5 Houston.
And 2014 Astros season tickets are on sale now. Lock in your seats now by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Bill and Alan.
Thank you, Layla. A lot of orange. That was a giveaway tonight, the orange uniform tops. Brett Cecil comes in his Blue Jays uniform with a 5-1 record, a 2.78 ERA, a low whip of 1.08. Top-notch left-hander and an all-star this year, Ash.
Guy who was a 15-game winner. Leading winner on the Blue Jays club a few years back. Had a very successful season.
That was back in 2010. He faces Brett Wallace. Strike 1 to Brett. Brett is 1 for 3 tonight. It's 5-8-2 for the Blue Jays. They've left 5. 8-7-0 for the Astros. They've stranded 3. Strike to Wallace. Chad Jenkins did quite a job. 4 innings of relief, allowing 3 hits, 3 runs. Only 1 was earned. He walked 1 and fanned 2. Blue Jays have Goins, Pilar, and Reyes due up in the 9th. That crowds Wallace. It's 1-2 to Brett. Blue Jays bullpen has an ERA of 3.51 this season. Closer is Casey Jansen. Wallace is down on strikes. Strikeout number 5 for Blue Jays pitching tonight. And Brandon Barnes will follow. Brandon doubled in a run in the 3-run Houston 2nd inning. He later scored. And he scored again in the 4th after reaching on an error. Cecil is in the top 10 in strikeouts among American League relievers. The one he just got was number 69.
And he's not a hard thrower. He has just learned to work it around and utilize the different breaking balls. He's always had a great changeup.
That's strike 1. 27 years old from Dunkirk, Maryland, and the University of Maryland. He was a closer when he was drafted. That was with a supplemental pick after the first round in 2007. That's lined into right field, and Brandon Barnes connects for the 2nd time tonight. That's back-to-back 2-hit games for Brandon.
So many topics, so many special guests. Kevin Eschenfelder has the sporting world covered on Sports Talk Live, weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
And So many wardrobe decisions for Kevin.
Now, when you look that good in anything you put on, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Not at all. Marwin Gonzalez next. He's 0 for 3. Marwin, a switch hitter, now turns it around as the throw goes over on Barnes. It's got to be just a special treat for a guy like Brett Cecil at age 27 to become an all-star for the first time in his career. Making a transition from starter to reliever and finding that kind of honor for his excellence out of the bullpen.
A guy who was dicey on even making this club over the past couple of seasons.
Runner goes. There's a chopper to third. Laurie plays it over to first. 2 outs. Barnes advances. Cecil came to camp out of minor league options, competing for a bullpen job this spring, and wound up going to the All-Star team. Now Jonathan Villar is 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the second inning. That led to a run scoring. Astros have some bullpen action. Probably Chai-Jan Lo out in the pen. Yes, it is. So one pitcher from Taiwan, Chen-Min Wang, started the game for Toronto, and another pitcher from Taiwan might be closing it for the Astros, Chai-Jan Lo. In the dirt, Aaron Sevia scrambles for it. It's 2-0.
Low stock is selling high right now. He's been pitching well in that back end of the bullpen.
Bull Porter's club shooting for win number 43 of the year. Can split the season series with Toronto with a win tonight, making it 3-3 with the decisive game coming tomorrow if that's the case. The Astros 4-0 here at Minute Maid Park against the Jays, who were swept in the series in 07 here. Short hop play by Laurie, and he makes it very well to end the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, and the man stranded. We move to the 9th, 8-5 Houston. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. We go to the 9th inning, and the Astros trying to secure a series win at home over the Toronto Blue Jays. Send Chai-Jan Lo to the mound. He has a 3-run lead. It makes it a safe situation for him. He is 1 for 2 in Major League save opportunities. 0-1 with an ERA of 1.
Stuff is good. Mid-90s fastball. Left-hand hitters having a miserable time and limited opportunities. Yes, 9 innings. But overall, that 194 mark, and has yet to allow a home run.
In his last outing at Texas, 3 days ago, he took the loss. He came in with the game tied 4-4 in the 8th inning, gave up a sacrifice fly to Elvis Andrus in the 9th after pitching a perfect 8th. And we have some Taiwanese fans here, and they got a chance to see Chen Min Wang start this game. Now Lowe tries to finish it with Ryan Goins leading it off. Goins is 1 for 3. That's ball 1.
Asia is starting to have a larger and larger impact on Major League Baseball.
Sure it is. If China ever gets serious about taking up baseball, it's going to explode there.
Is that the truth?
That's the real sleeping giant, so to speak. It's a shot line foul. Josh Side went 1 1/3 innings. He allowed 2 hits and a run with 1 walk, no strikeouts. Josh Fields struck out the only man he faced, Sierra, to leave 2 men on in the 8th inning. Foul back. And it's Japan versus Chula Vista, California, the Little League World Series Finals. Truly an international sport.
Japan's been finding a way to be a part of that event a lot of times in recent years.
Did you see that piece on 60 Minutes about China?
I don't believe so.
Very interesting. Chop to second. Marlon Gonzalez in. That's out number 1 for Chai-Jen Low.
Have you been utilizing time at home wisely?
Maybe not. But it gives us something to talk about. Do you have a promo to read there?
I do. Stay tuned for Postgame Live, presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history.
Well, it seems that the middle class in China is now emerging and evolving and has some money to spend and invest. And the best investments they've been able to come up with involve real estate investments.
Yeah, this may be a piece I've seen. Is this talking about cities that they're building?
Yeah, bunted and it hits the bag and safe at first. Pilar bunted it hard. It hit first base, popped up in the air, and he's able to beat Brent Wallace for a bunt single.
Well, I'm not sure what happened here with Chai-Jen Low, but he did not get over the bag, and I'm not sure that it would have provided a play, but it would have given seemingly some kind of option for Brett Wallace. Right here, ball gets by the bag. You can see Lowe just loafing as he comes toward the bag and never gets there.
It's a bunt hit.
It's a unique bunt. You don't see that happen very often.
No, sir. Bunted hard. Too hard to roll foul, apparently. Looked like it might be a foul ball, but it hit the base. Jose Reyes, the batter, there's strike 1. He's 0 for 4. So apparently all these investors are investing in real estate. And the real estate companies are building these skyscrapers. They're building entire cities in China, and they're not populated. Nobody lives in these high-rise buildings.
I have seen that piece. Just ghost towns.
Wow.
Brand new ghost towns. It's really phenomenal.
It's really shocking that they would build an entire. I mean, you know, we're talking about 15 skyscrapers of maybe 50 stories and nobody living in any of these buildings.
We see shopping centers struggle and tend to be empty on a lot of occasions. They've got at least one entire city that's been built and nobody living there.
So if you want your own city, it's right there for you. No balls, 2 strikes. And it's 1-2. Chai-Jen Low, the first Taiwanese-born player to reach the Astros major league level, has really had a problem staying healthy. Pitched in 42 games back in 2009. That was his first year as a pro. Only 7 games the next year, just 2 games in 2011. Last year he had, well, he pitched in the Arizona Fall League, but he had fewer than 20 appearances during the regular season. 26 years old. So he has kept after it, and he's advanced to the big leagues. 2 balls, 2 strikes, trying here tonight for his second major league save.
like his stuff, and I think it stacks up nicely for a back into the bullpen guy.
There have been 10 players from Taiwan who played Major League Baseball total. Now a full count on Reyes.
I like the fact that the Astros have been holding at the bag at first base so you don't lose that double play possibility. You can hold by playing right behind a runner as well.
Chopped, and Marwin Gonzalez will back up to get the hop. Gets the out at first wisely. It's out number 2. Pilar advances to second. That run is not important, and there are 2 outs in the inning.
Just a high chopper. You're not going to get 2 on this anyway. And Marwin makes a quick and heady decision there to go to first.
Yeah, 1 out remaining. Rajai Davis is 0 for 4 tonight. Jan Lowe started out in A-ball this year. Joined Corpus Christi July 10th. Quickly along. That's ball 1. I was talking with David Stearns tonight, the Astros assistant general manager. We were just marveling over all the promotions in the Astros minor league system this year. We've never seen anything like it. And the thing we marveled over was how well each player has done when promoted. Usually some of these guys struggle when they go up a higher level. That's been rare this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 1-2. Rajai Davis. Blue Jays trying to avoid a 7th straight loss.
They're not a good club right now, and a big part of that is not having their big star Jose Bautista, but overall, team that hasn't pitched well, haven't played well defensively.
Swing and a miss. Jan Lowe nails it down, and the Astros have won the first 2 of this 3-game series. A big night for Jason Castro, who's all smiles as he gives the ball to Jan Lowe. After his 2nd Major League save, Castro has earned his piece of Astros history tonight with a 2-home-run game and a double and a walk. And the Astros win it. Final score, Houston 8, Toronto 5.